Good evening once again, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying your dinner. I can tell you are because I see a lot of bent down heads, so I can tell you're enjoying your dinner. We're going to get ready to continue our program with the honorees this evening. Just want to give a little small history about something I found out about. You can find out a lot about Henry Horner, where we grew up from. Yeah. I'm kind of young, so I can go around the room with some certain people I can ask about some things. But how many of you know that Henry Horner Boys Club really started in 1847? By show of hands. Who knew that? Who knew that? Well, everybody didn't know that. I didn't know that till just a few minutes ago. On the first floor in the social room. I do know the social room because I grew up in 1847. And also 111, 120 also too. Those was the first startup of the Boys Club.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good one. Also, for some of the people like my age and younger, we have some of the actual founders, first members that came up to the Boys Club in here. I'm gonna ask them to stand up. I know 3 of them for sure. Lawrence Tyler, you want to raise your hand and stand up? That's one. David Bay, you want to stand up? That's another one. And he think, I don't know, he probably just sit there. Stephen Parker. All right. So we really have some really successful people in this house, I'll tell you. That comes a long way. You know, they always thought when they built the project, they just gonna just file us away. That's what they thought. That's why they built us one on top of the other. They thought they was gonna file us away. But they messed up. They didn't know we had great things in those projects, in those file cabinets. We had history makers in those file cabinets. And so, therefore, you know, when coming up in those days, it was nothing but good days. How many of us know that there was no bad days really growing up in here growing up? Not a whole lot of bad days. But the one thing you can remember about the Boys Club, you can always have some place to go.
That's right.
You always have some place to go. And you can go to the club, but they have top security at the Boys Club too. Yeah. If you all remember Knight was not letting you in the Boys Club. Unless you had that little great hard card that if you hit somebody upside their head, you would knock them out. But those were the days because we had rules, we had structure. Oh, you couldn't get in. If you weren't of age, you didn't have that great card, you couldn't get in. You never could get in the Boys Club without your right credentials. So we had a good time growing up. But now, moving right along with the program, our next honoree, he worked at Northern Trust for over 35 years. As he retired as the VP of Minority Business Development. Okay. He's now currently the chairman of CAP, which is over Chicago area projects. Also, he loved karate. He was a big karate expert. Also, he loved to dance and step. If you're on Facebook, you've probably seen him before. Stepping all over the place. That's what he loved to do. And he's a good guy. He's a good friend of mine. Whenever I needed somebody to talk to, he always has been there for me. All right. Also, too, not to mention he's a good financial advisor also, too. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you down on Cox-Bey. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you all. Thanks for the standing ovation. You all may be seated. You know, it's an honor to be here, and I'm here representing my brother Rameses Cox-Bey. Some of you may know him. Ram was actually one of the founders, along with, I see Jerry Strickland here as well, at the Duncan Horner YMCA, which is now the Major Adams Committee Center. Okay. And Ram was one of the major people down there. he was like the Major Adams of the new projects, as we used to call there. And he taught karate and many other sports there at the Duncan Horner. And many of the programs that exist today, they were in the formative stages at that time. But now they're still going on. Thank you, about my career, where I did work at Northern Trust and also Michelle Obama, and I worked with Chicago area projects. David Whitaker here has did a lot of things for the community. We are a community, as Elvin said, we are a community without boundaries now. You cannot take the community out of us. And we are still doing things here, so it's important that we continue to support MACC, because once these institutions gone, then we're gone. Keeping some ownership in our communities is very important. So enjoy yourselves and dance like no one is watching. Peace.
All right.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Well, Strickland, you were picked to talk about you, Reverend Strickland. Now, what we say is before you became a reverend, right? As a mentor, you never let me down. You was late today, like you was late back then. I remember you. You remember you was reffing the game, the championship game in Henry Horner? Down in the boys' club that I played in. Remember I laid that ball up, and then you called traveling after I laid it up. It was at Hale Court. Remember that? But on the real side, I want to thank you. I know we here to roast you, but I want to thank you. You was a mentor then and a mentor now. Even when I was working with CTA on the bus and I used to pick you up from the job and drop you off, you was still mentoring me. Hey, boy, make a left there. Turn right here. Go there. Stop. So thank you. Hey, Mr. Artie. Hey.
Hello, family. My name is Lathan. I'm from the Henry Horner Project. I ventured down to the YMCA when I was like 16. I think I hit about 40, 45 points a game. Mr. Strickland was always behind me. He carried me everywhere over the city I could see. Me and his brother was great people. But Mr. Strickland, I would like to thank you, man. And I will respect you. I call you Mr. now. I only call people Mr. that I respect. And you got a lot of respect for me.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, every face I see is a memory. Some good and some bad. I'm still grateful to be part of this honoring program. And coming up in the Hornets, in the 60s, it was so pleasant there, And I just want to thank each and every honoree here tonight for allowing them to get out of themselves and to reach out and bring some of us up to a level where we had understanding about sports, not to do this, not to do that. And my mentor, he's one of the honorees today. I call him my big brother, and I call his wife my big sister, Jerry Strickland. All right. And bro, I just want to thank you for approaching me when I was 14 years old. You saw me playing softball, baseball. And you asked me to come play for you. And Jerry, that was one of the best moments of my life because, I really didn't have any sense of the game until your knowledge of the game taught us how to be as a unit. And it was wonderful, Jerry, because, even today, you and your wife, I can call y'all up, I'm going through something, and y'all is always there. And it's nothing but a God saying that he put y'all in my life for a reason. And like you tell me, big bro, you say, that's what I'm here for. Don't hesitate, call me anytime. And to the other honorees, God bless y'all because, y'all didn't have to do what y'all had to do. Y'all seeing something in us coming up, and y'all just shared it with us. And this is a joyous occasion. Some who have passed on, you know, hey, God bless them, let them rest in peace. But Jerry, I love you. And man, ain't nothing you can do about that, man. 'Cause we were just speaking on last week, and I was saying, man, I'm just so grateful, Jerry. Besides God, the Spirit of God, I got you and your wife I can call on, and man, and y'all just set me straight. You know, because sometimes it just be like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And man, you hit me with the scriptures, and then I go read up on it, and man, I said, okay, now I see what he talking about. But to each and every one of y'all here, you know, I just want to thank y'all for coming out, because ain't too many people doing this today. Aren't there people who played a big part of their lives? And I'm just grateful. And God bless each and every one of you.
Donna, can I have you to come up to the podium? And Mr. Strickland, I need you to come up to the podium also too. I'm going to read what it says on the award. It said, "We appreciate it for the years of distinguished public service and support to the families of the Henry Horner community. September 30th, 2022.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to stand before you this evening on such an auspicious occasion. Normally, I wouldn't be talking like this, but because it's such a distinguished audience, I had to put on my best suit and put on a nice tie and come out here so I can show off for you. Tonight, I want to give you a story. It's going to be brief. It's not going to be lengthy, but it's concerning family. Because see, in Henry Horner, family was from Wood Street to Oakley, from Lake Street to Washington. Everywhere you went, you had a sense of family. And family is an institution that you must be committed to. And that's what I want to talk about. But before I start, I want to give glory and honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who said in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 15, that I no longer consider you as just a servant, but as a friend. A friend. In Henry Horner, you were never without a friend. And Jesus was in the presence. Even though we didn't know it, some of us had hoods over our heads and masks on our face, but he was there. You can sit here today and witness that. He was there. Amen? So I'm delighted seeing all of you here tonight to pay tribute, honoring myself and my fellow pioneers. Namely, Mr. Rams Cox-Bey, Mr. Johnny Harris, hold your applause, and Mr. Howard Lathan. Now, let's all stand and take a moment and applaud these gentlemen for all of the years of dedicated service to the community of Henry Horner. That's it. That's it. Come on, get up. Come on. They deserve it. You may be seated. They deserve it. Don't you agree? Yes. They deserve it. Growing up in Henry Horner, I was extremely fortunate to have had such a dedicated group of people who genuinely cared and significantly impacted my life. Let's begin with my champion advocate, my dear late mother. Well known throughout the community for her coaching prowess and her winning girls softball teams. She inspired me. She also encouraged me as well. And she disciplined whenever I violated her strict code of behavior. So I'll always love Mama. May she rest peacefully in the arms of the Lord. I'm getting a little emotional. There was also some insightful men who provided sterling examples of how life values were a necessity for anyone who realized that one day their dreams could come true. Take Mr. Kennedy, a middle school teacher who coached the boys basketball team at Henry Horner Boys Club for several years. I want to say thanks, Mr. Kennedy. You'll always be in our hearts, and we'll never forget you. Then also there was Major Adams, organizer, instructor, and leader of Henry Horner Drum and Bugle Corps. Major Adams always stressed the importance of respect and discipline, even to those who weren't even members of the Drum and Bugle Corps. Some of you may say, why? Why, you ask? Well, because he genuinely cared for the lives of the young people. And some of y'all be totally encompassed in gratitude for Major Adams. Thank you, Major. Thank you for your legacy. Thank you for your legacy. One of the most influential and persuasive resource people that I've ever had the privilege of knowing was Mrs. Earlene Lindsay. Did anybody remember Miss Lindsay? As a matter of fact, she was responsible for discovering multiple career opportunities for young people, which for me turned into gold, and I was able to pursue lucrative employment prospects as a result of her hard work and dedication. So, anybody remembers Miss Lindsay? Think about her. She will always be in your heart, and she will always be a memory of mine. Thank you, Miss Lindsay. May she rest in God's peace. During my early adult years, I developed a strong passion to mentor and to coach young people for the sole purpose of equipping them to live better qualities of life. In spite of the impoverished conditions existing in the surrounding communities, they were given a chance to rise above the poverty level and enjoy success in life. That was my ambition. As Providence would have it, I was hired at Duncan YMCA by your brother Rams. I was hired. There I received that chance to instill in young people the benefits of exercising discipline, building moral character, while striving to attain a goal of excellence. Isn't it right, Janice? That's what I did. As a result, I painstakingly contributed to the development of many members, right, Mike, who went on to become productive citizens as well as successful adults. That was what I did, and that's what I love to do. Thank you, Duncan Y family. Is there Duncan Y family members here? Duncan Y family. All right. For allowing me the privilege of being part of your lives then as well as now as you enter into your future. Now to my esteemed family, my personal family. I thank God for your patience and understanding, for you've allowed me the privilege of sharing my life with countless others. You've enabled me to spend an inordinate amount of time devoting myself to fulfilling the work I truly, truly love. You've also afforded me an opportunity to serve people whom I've since grown to love. And all you Duncanites, I love you. All you Horner Boys Club members, I love you. You're valuable. You're a part of the consensus which says I'm a good person. Not the best. I got my faults. But guess what? I can give you things that you don't even have to ask for. To my eldest, Randall's son, you made me a proud father, as you have accomplished more than I could ever dream or possibly achieve in 2 lifetimes. I love you, son. Mr. Gerard, at one time you had me worried, but by the grace of God, you went on to excel in a professional baseball career and enjoy a successful run at it with the New York Mets. You've achieved a level of greatness that I can even boast about. And you made me a proud pops, as you always call me, pops. You made me a proud pops. And you left me a lifetime of memories. I love you, son. And then there's Miss LaFell, my only daughter, but she's a delicate flower. Someone recently referred to me as a young lady who is very persistent, won't give up, and never takes no for an answer. But sweetheart, in my eyes, you'll always be the one whom I cherish, the lady I will never say no to. Love you, lady. And for my son who's not here, youngest is Jeremy. I applaud him for the sworn oath of duty in service to our country. I especially appreciate his dedication to his family as a husband, a father, and a decorated officer in the United States Army. He's currently stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, near the city of Killeen. Turning now to my dearest brother, Reginald, and his lovely wife, Centricia, and to the host of beautiful cousins and relatives who turned out this evening to celebrate with me. Clap for yourself, y'all. Thank you to my gracious brother and sister-in-law, James and Jackie Campbell, for all of your assistance and support. Thanks to all of the saints in the house, you made me feel very special, and your presence is truly gratifying. Thank to each of our spiritual sons, Robert, Mike, brothers and sisters, Sister Gracie, Sister Rosetta. My wife and I regard you as adopted family members, and we welcome you into our loving family. And my lovely cousin Audrey, I see you sit there. You're gleaming and glowing. Thank you for being here, Audrey. Finally, to my beloved wife, Ollie. The woman whom I dearly love and have grown closer and closer to each and every day. Since that sacred day, we said I do. Thank you, darling, for loving such a one as I. I sincerely thank everyone here tonight, for you have radically changed my life for the better and forever. Again, thank you.
I've known Reverend Harris for over 60 years. We grew up together in West Memphis, Arkansas. We were classmates at Wonder High School in West Memphis.
For the Christian.
In other words, he couldn't see the crowd, but he could hear the crowd. What that tells me is that use what you got to get what you want. Yes, use what you got. He didn't have sight, but he had ears and he could hear. And because he had positioned himself in the right place at the right time, he was able to receive the blessings of God.
He was a star athlete at the high school. He played baseball, basketball, football, ran track. You know, he was just involved in everything. You know, he was sang in the high school choir. He was a gospel singer. He was a member of the drama team in high school. And believe it or not, the senior class at high school voted him as the best dancer.
I was fortunate enough, through the blessings of God, to have sports as my resource to pay for my college. So during the whole time, I think I only owed probably college loans or what have you, about $500.
Well, I met Johnny in 1966. I was a 9th grader and he was a 10th grader. And we're from two different areas. I'm from the rural area and Johnny was from what you call the city of West Memphis. Johnny seemed to have had just all the gifts that a person would have, but he wasn't one that flaunted it.
Sometimes people will discourage you, and they would tell you, I got mine, so you get yours. Yeah, no, but that's all right because you can get your own if you plug in to the right source of power.
Johnny was just a person you could always reach, you could always get close to. And he was one that led by example.
He had the ability to inspire and motivate other people through his involvement. He's a charismatic person. He's carries himself in a very confident way. And he's also very enthusiastic about any work that he's involved in. And this is something that was kind of inbred for us in West Memphis because we had good examples in the community of men in the community that they would work a job all day. And then in the evenings after work, they would come and attend to community affairs. They would participate with us in voters registration, Little League baseball, things of that nature.
Thank God for having Major Adams in my life and a life of the people that I've been associated with Major Adams Community Committee. It's not only just a community center where we babysit, but it's a place of safety. It's a place where kids can come in and families could come in and they could soar to their dreams and their aspirations, and they can find love, they can find someone that cares, they can find support, the resources that they need. And this is the type of thing what we need all over the city of Chicago.
John Harris, he's been a great impact on my life. Ever since he came to the Boys Club in the 70s, the doors has always been open to me. Everything was going on, recreation, football, basketball, swimming. I really was very fond of basketball. He used to open the gym for us on Sundays, all type of night, let us come in and play ball. We really enjoyed John Harris.
We talked about it takes a village to raise a child. But I asked the question, even if it takes a village to raise the child, who raising the village? I leave you with that. Who's raising the village?
Thank him in advance. He will supply your healing. He will supply all your needs according to his riches.
And you have left an indelible impression upon each and every one of our lives. So congratulations to you, man. We love you, Doc. And just continue to keep being Johnny L. Harris.
You poured into my life through your example of selfless giving, and it has made my life richer. So love you, brother. Keep doing what God has called you to do.
That's why.
We got one more clip that's coming up for Mr. Harris. This will be a special video clip from Cecilia Rohi. This is the mother of Joaquin Noah of Chicago Bulls.
Right.
Well, hello there. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Major Adams. Hi, people. It's so great to be able to say congratulations to a wonderful life work, helping children where you grew up, and kind of got us involved, because I remember very clearly when I was knocking on the door 2010 to see if I could come in, and you really almost smacked the door and said, "We don't need an NBA people in here taking pictures of our kids. Thank you, no thank you." And I said, "No, we do art, we do sport." And you opened the door, and the rest is history. And you are a wonderful person. I have wonderful memories, even you serenading me. It never happened before like that. So thank you for that. And I'm sending my love to you all, especially to you, Johnny. Congratulations.
Mr. Reverend Harris, another reverend in the house. All right, again, this is before he became a reverend. John, you're a good guy. Everything they said about you is good. You know, when I first met you, it was in the boys' club. You surprised us all. Here, you had a guy, looked like to us he was like 7 foot, right? When he came in, he had curls. You know, he had that Michael Jackson curl in the front. He came in with a tank top, you know, tied on the side, you know. He had some cloth, blue jean shorts. He had some black socks with suspenders on them that had pockets. And he had on some gym shoe straps. And he hung with this little midget called Kazoo, what's his name, Kazoo John? And he went in and John the socks, and he had the little Jerry curl spray. No, I'm just kidding. John was a great basketball player. The thing I liked about John the most, that he came, not only did he help us, he actually came in to play and could play. Kareem, I was impressed. He had this guy with speed, he could shoot. He had all kinds of trick shots, and he would sit back and laugh at us and run down court. You know, we couldn't block his shots, so we were like, okay, cool, all right. So I just want to thank you, John. Thank you for everything you did for all of us, not just, you know, anybody came to you, you gave them either advice and help and steered them in the right direction. I remember you had to snatch me up a couple times, because I was one of those kids that with a bad attitude. I respect my elders. It was just that I had, you know, I was quick to fight, right? He set me down. I did, didn't you know? And John, he pulled me in the office one day, and he set me down, and he showed me. He kind of taught me, along with my brother Jerry. Hey, Jerry, I'll give you kudos right there. But thank y'all for coming out. We appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Hello, family. John Harris was a great guy. When I first met him at Henry Horner Boys School, I thought Artist Gilmore got transferred to the boys school. Because he had the whole was natural. But John, you always been my man. Every place I run into you at, John, it don't make it different. You treat me like I am somebody. I had a lot of great people behind me. Younger brothers, he's been a great influence on me. I say no name, but he always been a great influence on me. But John, you've been my man all my life. Ever since I knew you, John. And John, man, I hope you stick around here with us. We love you, man.
Coming up to the stage, Alvin Capone Stone.
From Westminster, Arkansas, let's give a great big round of applause for Mr. John Harris.
Wow. I never thought emotions would be like this. Jerry, you've been great. Being here in this place brings back a lot of memories. I see a lot of encouragement. Jerry, it's my go-to when I want to call Washington, D.C. I don't call Biden. I call here, county. Wow. Jerry, you really make this hard. Strickland. But first, giving honor to God, I thank him for being there, and I must give honor to him that is due. Thank God for my family, Stan, because Jerry went through the whole repertoire. My wife, Carolyn, granddaughter, London, son-in-law, son, Kenyon, my nephew. The voice you heard on the CD, that was me and my nephew, Pastor Ewan, right there standing. And that's our release. That'll probably be out about another month or so. But I just thank God for all of you, co-workers, cousins. See, Dr. Parker's in the house. Man, I'm just grateful for all the co-workers, mentors, colleagues, fellow awardees. I praise God for you. I thank God for you. All the guests that are attendees of tonight, you've been great. Greater than great. When I look around the room, I feel nothing but joy. I feel encouragement. I feel peace that surpasses all understanding. I'm deeply honored, truly, to be here tonight with this prestigious occasion. I accept this with humility at the lowest. This committee that came up with this concept and this idea, who were youth and are now ones who will carry the torch. Would you please carry the scepter of power, scepter of authority, the scepter of leading our babies and our little ones to the next level. Keep dreaming. Don't stop. It's good. Dream. Dream on. Dream chasers. You can chase your dream, but don't let your dream chase you. It might become a nightmare. Just keep dreaming. Everybody needs some mentor. I looked at a guy in the Bible, Barnabas. Barnabas was great. Barnabas was an encourager, Jerry. That's why I loved him so, my brother. Barnabas, he encouraged his friends. Barnabas, if you read the story according to Acts chapter 11, verse 25, he went to Tarsus and he found Saul. He got Saul, brought him back to Antioch. For a whole year, he taught the church great multitudes in numbers, and the disciples, they was first called Christians. That's how I see you at Antioch. Thank you. Everybody needs three people in their life. You need somebody that you can look up to. You need somebody that can pull you up. You need somebody that can pull you over. You need somebody you can pull up. Thank you, Howard. You're not Barnabas. You pulled me up with you. Thank you, Artie. You didn't know what was coming. You was the one that's bigger than me. You always check me and pull me to the side. I thank you for that. And we got to keep pulling those up, because they are the one that's going to take us to the next level. And I thank God for the next level. Kenny Butler, where are you? I'm pulling you up, Kenny. I'm pulling you up. You need those three people. Somebody you can look up to. I know what you're thinking. I look up to God. God put you down here as a people to pull up each other. Don't allow life to become a cat and mouse game. Because I just saw the video the other day. Guess what? The cat wasn't chasing the mouse was chasing the cat. Isn't that an oxymoron? Wasn't that a turnaround all of a sudden? Don't let it just be a chase. I don't know what you're chasing, I don't know what your loved one chasing. I don't know what your family chasing. I chase God. I'm a God chaser. Let your life be the evidence for those who come behind you. Let your work be the product that speaks loud volumes to you. I'm a product of Major Adams. I'm a product of Gladstone Sanders. I'm a product, oh, I thought it was Sunday, I'm sorry. I'm a product of Dan Swope. I'm a product of Howard Lathan. I'm a product. Are you a product? Believe in yourself. If you don't, you are headed for disappointment and hardship. Believe in yourself. Beliefs, I'm glad you asked where they come from. They originate from, they come from three things. I like three. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Number one, where do your beliefs come from? I hear you. Inquiring minds are asking. You want to know. Number one, they come from your experience. Number two, come from your environment. Number three, they come from an event. Don't get stuck with the events. Get the picture? They say it's worth 1,000 words. I was looking at a picture the other day. And guess what? I looked at the picture, but I didn't read the article. So if you look at the picture, you got to read the script. And the script says that, I know it's been hard. I know you don't think much of me. But that's the picture. But when you read the article, I can do all things. I'll leave it right there, church folks. Close. And I'm going to read this one from the mess, right? 1 Thessalonians 4:11. Shortly, my cousin gave us this today, Betty. She gave me a scripture, and I put a tag to it that says, shut up and go to work. It's not harsh, that's just me. I'm from Arkansas, West Memphis. 1 Thessalonians 4:11 says, make your ambition for your life to be quiet. Mind your own business. Work with your hands. Do as you're told. So your daily life may win the respect of others, and you will not be dependent on anybody. Thank you. God bless you.
All that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment, hope for all I do. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. When I've lost my direction, you're the compass for my way. You're the fire and light when nights are long and cold. In sadness, you are the laughter that shadows all my fears. When I'm all alone, your hand is there to hold. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. All that's good and perfect comes from you.
without further ado, I will be introducing these two young men. Mr. Jerry Campbell, please come up, and Mr. Michael Holmes, please come up to the podium.
I met Howard 60 years ago. No, for me. I don't know how he was, but I was 7. And so it was a day similar to a day like today. Nice, warm day. He was over at IC. All right. Worked at IC. And I wanted to get some snacks for me and my sister. So what I did was I went to IC and I stuffed my shirt with some Twinkies and a pack of grape Kool-Aid in my pocket. On my way out the door, somebody stopped me and said, "Hey, you want to take that out your pocket?" Like, what? Ain't nothing in my pocket. He said, "Yes it is, I see the Kool-Aid, stick it out." And what did they do? Howard took me and put me in the freezer. He stuck me in the freezer. I'm like, this guy stuck me in the freezer. And we were talking at this table, number 4, with some of the founders. And Barnes was talking about the freezer. About how they put people's stoves in the freezer. And I reminded Barnes that many of us got our criminal start at IC. But that's how I met Howard, and Howard has been a mentor, a friend. I mean, all of these years. You never know how traumatic that was for me as a kid to be stuck in a freezer. However, it was also the beginning of a journey that I'm still on today. And it's for people like Howard who kind of put me on that particular journey. And even the work that I do now, if the work is not about work, it's about a mission and it's about a purpose. And that was what Howard instilled in me. And so if there was a major, Adam was the major, then Howard was the second major. Let's turn it over to Mike.
I'm just going to follow up by saying, I don't know, I can't remember when I met him, but it seemed like I met him and I've known him all my life, right? And we kind of discussed this. They told me roasting Howard. I said, well, we don't want to get put out. Because I mean, I think Howard thought I was a good poker or something. But every time he talked to me about something, it was about making money. Howard showed me how to make money. All right. And on top of that, he fired me about 5 times. But the thing is, if you look at how it is now, Howard was the one that created an atmosphere. I'm not saying by itself, but for me, I saw through Howard. We were the only kids, I think, that grew up during that time where we can go to school and come to the boys club and see the same men all day. And the boys club was our place to go to do anything. And it was Howard who, for some reason, he saw something and he put me in this junior leadership thing and always had me in front of people and the next thing I know I was doing something. But what I was learning, I was doing something for somebody else. And that's the main thing Howard taught people. Take care of other people. And I think honoring him tonight is something that we all should be grateful that he's here for us to be able to do that. Because here's somebody that I've seen all my life. I ain't gonna say 60. but for 50 years, I ain't seen this man do nothing but help people. And him and Major and other folks, you know, Cox-Bey, Strickland, Johnny, you guys laid a foundation for kids that you won't never even see. And that's what this is all about. But Howard got to be one of the few people that's always giving, even to this day. I'm proud to be somebody that, you know, he touched as a young man, and hopefully, you know, we both have done some things to make him proud. But I want to say congratulations, Howard.
Person couldn't deserve it more than him and the other honorees that were giving us these awards tonight. Thank you all.
The next person that will come up here to the podium, he works for Chicago. He's the executive director of Chicago Area Project. Is Mr. David Whitaker. Let's hear him.
All right, thank you so much. You know, so many good things have been said about Howard Lathan, so I'm going to keep this brief as our time is drawing near. Before we talk about Howard, one thing I want us to do, folks, is to recognize the people who put on these kind of gala organizing events. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of work, a lot of headaches, a lot of stress. But let's just take a moment to recognize the gala organizing committee started with Ken Butler and all of his whole team that put this together. Thank you so much. You know, we don't get together like this at all. I mean, we usually get together like this at funerals or somebody's sick. But to get together to honor those people we admire and respect so much is a real remarkable contribution that you have made. So we just thank you again, Ken, for putting us together. This is great. So as I mentioned, Howard is a person that we all know, we all admire and respect. I'm going to tell a couple of quick stories you may not know about Howard. Howard's contribution goes far beyond Chicago and the West Side. Howard has worked on assignment in places like Carbondale and Cairo, starting organizations at the farthest end of Illinois. He's worked at places like Rockford, Rock Island, Waukegan. This guy has traveled all over the globe here in Illinois, pulling together organizations like the Major Adams Community Committee. He has made contributions. Folks recognize him all over the state of Illinois. One thing you may not know about Howard, because he does not toot his own horn. Real quickly, this one story. 25 years ago, there was a young man coming to our office on a regular basis to receive briefing and mentoring from Howard Lathan. This young guy would come in and all the women would go crazy. Who is that good looking man? They would just absolutely go crazy. But Howard would work this young guy. He was organized on the south side of Chicago, organizing ministers and churches. And you guys probably recognize who it is by now. He would often come there and meet with him. And Howard told me, David, you got to meet this young man. I think he has great potential as an organizer. I say, Howard, you always say that about people. But Howard said, but David, I really mean it this time. So you got to meet this young man. He's doing great. So Howard has this God-given discernment to recognize talent, honesty, devotion in his heart. So I met the young man. But unfortunately, at that point, I didn't have that God-given discernment, talent, understanding. So I said, okay, Howard, he's good, but so what? So Howard said, David, we should do something with him. So I wish we had, I didn't. But this young man went on to become a state senator, and then U.S. senator, and then president of the United States of America. That's Barack Obama, that Howard was right there for. Yeah. I'm not saying that Howard made a president. All I'm saying is There's different steps along the way that each one of us need to go to the place that God has for us to go. And there was one step that Barack needed as on his journey to greatness. If Barack had relied on me, he was still organizing the South Side of Chicago. But I didn't see in him what Howard saw in him. So that's the kind of person that Howard is. He really believes in people. Another good story, and we'll pull Howard on up here, is that you see Howard now, he's cool, calm, collected. He's the epitome of cool, sitting over there looking like the man in black. All cool. But Howard wasn't always that way. Back in the 80s, when I started Chicago Area Project, Howard was radical as hell. That man would demonstrate, organize, take direct action on almost anything going on at any time. Howard could be counted on to bring the challenge to the systems. He would always do that. When I first met Howard, he was working for the state. I came from North Carolina to work for the Chicago Area Project. When Howard would come into the office for different meetings, he would look at people like me and my colleague Ricky Williams, and he said, "Boy, you guys don't look like you're no organizer. Always wearing those suits." He began to call us the suit guys. And I would say, Ricky, who is that crazy man? He said, "Dave, don't worry about it. He's kind of irritable, but he's a great organizer." And so every time we have this meeting, every single week, Howard would come and talk about me and Ricky and our suits. "You guys don't know nothing about the community. Y'all can't organize your way out of a hole." I said, "Ricky, I can't stand that man." But thank God that a few years later, we were all working together. And Howard was able to pull together all of our major organizing projects. I mean, he has influenced and helped so many people on their way. I see Antoine, and you know about Jerry Campbell, worked for under Howard for so many years, and now he's bringing federal resources back to the city and back to all of our organization. Arthur Robinson, I see, so many folks that he's worked with, the Honorable Walter Burnett, Judge Michael Studley, Richard Steele, my goodness, the celebrity is here. So Howard has touched and influenced and worked with so many people. Obadiah, see you here, man, coming. So we're just delighted that Howard chose to stick around and touch and influence. As someone said before, he would never know how many people he has touched, influenced, and helped to achieve greatness. So won't you join me in recognizing and honoring our dear friend, our brother, our colleague, the guy who we love, Mr. Howard Lathan.
All right, first of all, I'd like to say praise the Lord, everybody.
Howard Lathan.
A gentleman.
I'm just so grateful to be able to call him my dear friend.
Howard is what we would call a people's person.
Boy, what can I say about Howard Lathan?
And Howard's record speaks for him.
He's the man.
A young man at the time who was concerned about all of the people.
And we've become more than friends. We are indeed brothers.
And I've been knowing Howard for about 40-something years. He's been around in the community on the west side and the south side, and every time I turn around, he's all over the place, you know.
A scholar, a motivator, a stimulator, an activist.
Most people know Howard from his work on the west side. What folks may not know, Howard has had a much broader influence. His influence is throughout Chicago, throughout Cook County, throughout the state, and indeed throughout the country.
Howard was there with Major all the time, but he also has been there since Major and in his own right.
Was I heard this crazy story about an individual standing out in the courtyard, going out in the courtyard, having heard that there were going to be gang fights, and this individual went out in the midst of those two warring gangs and talked them down. I thought, who in the world would do something like that?
Would you believe Howard was out there trying to stop when he was a young boy, trying to stop. That's the only reason why I came out there.
Yeah.
Because of Howard.
Daring.
but just caring too. To make a difference. But that thing that got me more than anything was those kids. Right. They were going to be in the middle of something that I just didn't want to see happen. And the guys who were doing the show, we knew who they were. We just, hey, man, you know, It was like it was that kind of thing.
The most important thing about it is Howard is always helping kids.
As the presiding judge of the juvenile court, I have a certain position in terms of what I expect out of my kids who appear before me. And Howard was one of those persons who supported that 100%. He also felt that we had an obligation to try to save some of these young black men.
And from that, we started generating, resources, training volunteers, and doing those kinds of things that to ensure that this is here for those young people and families coming behind us.
I tell you, Howard, as you mentioned, Howard likes to work behind the scenes. A lot of stories he will not tell. And let me just tell you this one story that folks don't know about because he doesn't even tell this story. Many years ago, Howard was working here as one of our directors. And there was a young man who would come by and see Howard. And I say every week this young man would be in Howard's office, and Howard would offer this young man a benefit of his knowledge. The young man did not work for us, was not paid by us, but Howard was always there to help him. This young man was named Barack Obama. And that was before Barack became famous. Barack was a young, struggling organizer in the community that happened to know about Howard Lathan.
Working with Chicago Area Project, Howard would help people to form organizations, community organizations all over the city.
And he comes down to Springfield and he tracked me down. He said, Senator, we need some money for these kids for the summer and all year round.
He connects the dots, right? I mean, he goes to Springfield and he lobbies, right, for Chicago Area Project. But at the same time, next thing you know, you see guys who come from Henry Horner down in Springfield lobbying for other organizations. Howard done hooked them up and taught them the game.
A person filled with integrity.
You recall a few years ago, with a different administration in Springfield, the government decided to close down pretty much social service programs, human service providers. During that year, Howard was laid off, as well as all of my chief leaders were all laid off. The measure of a man is what he does in a time of crisis. During that year, when he was not getting paid, had to dip into his savings and use his savings to survive on, there were many people who came to Howard in crisis, in trouble, couldn't pay their rent, couldn't pay their mortgage, one problem or another. I know personally that Howard dipped into his own funds to help those people, even though not making a salary, not getting paid at all for 12 straight months. Now, he may not want folks to know this. Well, it's too late now because I already spilled the beans.
Working for Howard for 5, 6, 7 years directly, he knew about personal challenges I was having. So to have someone that would, spend time with you and give you some fatherly advice.
Howard was a supervisor of mine at a great organization called Chicago Area Project.
Like just to actually put his hands on and be involved, I just really am appreciative and grateful for it.
He was a great leader. I learned so much from Howard.
Howard is a guy that he's basic in his response to stuff, you know what I mean? Practical, common sense.
That's why I'm here, because I'm standing on the shoulders of those individuals who were there as a young man as I was growing up, so I think that's only my responsibility to do this.
I have been involved at some point with some programs from time to time, but I started feeling guilty because here's a guy who was totally involved all the time. And when I saw these kids at different events and how involved he was and how happy he was to see them either, by the marching band or some activities that they were doing that was part of, what Major Adams and his organization was about, I really felt like I needed to be more involved.
And part of that that call or that rally to get people engaged is volunteer.
I would ask him something or say a problem I had with somebody and say, listen, check this out. What part did you play in it? Yeah, I scratch my head and say, yeah, you got a point, you know what I mean? So
we need their involvement as volunteers, and they can do that in many different ways. You know, it's not always, it's service, it's being here for the young people, what have you, but it's also in the giving of resources or access to get resources or the like. But it's important that people who are from this experience be of service and give back.
And if there's anybody who deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award, it is Howard Lathan.
Yeah, so bless you, Howard. God bless you. Continue to bless you, your legacy, bless your life, and may you have many, 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 many more years in this great work that we do.
This is a man that should have his name on streets, right? So he has an honorary street on the west side and the south side, maybe an expressway, who knows, but everyone needs to know who Howard Lathan is.
Well done, our good and faithful servant.
What I know about Howard is if you make it in life, if he has poured into your life and you make it, he's happy.
You have served our young people extremely well. Howard Lathan, well done.
If you pour into people and you see that they have done something and they have turned around and now give back and pour to others, I think that's how we thank him.
Howard, I'm proud of you. You are so much deserving of this award, and I wish you the best of luck, brother. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
And with that being said, everybody please stand to your feet. Everybody please stand to your feet as we bring the man of the hour, the houree, Mr. Howard Lathan. Let's give a big round of applause.
Boy, I had tears in my eyes. And I want to really thank Kenny and his team that pulled this all together. It's just amazing that how young people are having an opportunity. I call you young, but most of those who are on the committee and all are younger than I am. You're keeping this movement going, as I shared on the video. I stand on the shoulders of people like Major Adams, Ms. Lindsay, and all the other individuals who were there when we were growing up. I moved over to the west side when I was 10 years old, and it's in the booklet. And early on in life, I had a demonstration of what service is all about. You know, because that's what was going on at the time. And so happened, people like Major, Ms. Lindsay, all the other leaders back in the day really realized that we had something special there in the corner. And in that community. And, you know, and to be helped by someone, myself, it just instilled in me the need to kind of continue on that work. My vision for my life was supposed to be an architectural engineer. That's what I envisioned. Because they were building all around the community, so I figured, hey, that's a good trade because it seems as though people could make a decent living and provide some housing for folks who need it. Well, I won the Junior Volunteer of the Year Award for the Metropolitan Chicago because I volunteered at the club. I mean, Major and all the other folks see me involved, you know, with my fellows, you know, I was one of those peer leaders, you know, a lot of guys, we were kind of tight. We had those programs that caused us to be tight. We had drill teams, we had all those group clubs and activities for young people back then. And it led me to kind of realize maybe I have something here with this notion about giving back. Because I see it around me all the time, people like Lawrence and Steve and all the other folks who were around in the community that provided guidance and direction for me. And that was really, really something that kind of triggered me to want to get into this work. And I owe a debt of gratitude to Major Adams. He was like a father to me because my dad passed on, and like many of us, we had figures in the community, social workers or other people in the community that served as fathers for us. And he was that for me. And I owe a debt of gratitude, and anything that was to be done in that community, and Major was involved, I was there. And he was like an instructor, he was a mentor. And I learned what I kind of developed in the end of being there for people who needed help, whether they were my peers or families or what have you. So I stuck with the winners. The winners guided me to a place that had me come today to be recognized among this prestigious group. These young men, pretty much, were part of my network. We were all part of one network in that community. And we talk about pioneers, let's define it. Okay, pioneers are visionaries. They're innovators, they're trailblazers. And we had so many of those individuals in our community who were moving into areas of professionalism, business, whatever it may have been, but more importantly, of service to our youth and our community as a whole. And so I was privileged again to have some folks who kind of guided and directed me at a stage in my life where it was important for me to be of service or make a contribution. Also, it enabled me to kind of learn from those who I was working with in the various jobs that I had. I worked at I.C. Story as Jerry, so bluntly put, we didn't put people in the freezer just to put them in there. It was part of, I call it, balance and restorative justice. And the justice was that as opposed to me calling the police and have you with a record and all those other things that come with it, well, we will do it internally in the community. So we created a community that we were able to kind of take care of our home in that manner. Yeah, take them in, scare them to death, call their mothers, and eventually we had. That's true. That was next time. That was next. They didn't just go to the freezer. After they were put out of the freezer, we let them out. They got a job at the store. And Lawrence was very, very crucial. We had the community during those times organized in a way where we took care of ourselves. Whether it's business, whether it's industry, whatever it was, we always maintained that kind of spirit in that community. So that was my, platform, that was my springboard to kind of say, hey, if we can do this in this community, we can do it in other communities as well. And I had the privilege of having one of the greatest person in my life, David Whitaker, who gave me a job at a time in my life where it was a down point in my life. My life was always just on track. It was a time when I had some problems as a human being, and we all have. But it was like I was helping others, I was helped. And I want to just let David know me. He knows it. I appreciate him and love him for it. But that was a springboard to really give me an opportunity to kind of share my experience and strengths and hopes and talents across the country. So, it has been a special experience, as I told Kenny earlier on, that give people flowers where they're here. Don't work till they go. He kind of said, okay, well, we're going to honor you now. We don't know what's going to happen. But really, the folks here in the audience, I'm just so elated here because you touch me. You know, everybody said what I have done to touch them. But for me to be able to deliver the work that I do and be effective at helping other folks is you allowed that to happen. Yeah. You were just as important, you know, in helping me gain what I've gained and being effective at my work. So I want to just say no to all of you. We're going to have, hopefully next year, a broader and bigger initiative or program similar to this that will honor a number of folks beyond this group that is being honored today. So just understand that we are bringing life and renewal back to the Horner experience. It was one of the greatest experiences, I think, that we had, those who were participating in it. But I think even the city, the state, and this country could benefit greatly from this experience because so many of the folks who come from this experience have been exceptionally professional in business, in all kinds of programs around the country. So I want to thank you all for this honor and privilege to kind of be here with you, and thank you all.
Let's give him a great big round of applause. Let's give him a big applause. Come on, come on, come on. Make some noise.
Good evening. For those of y'all who do not know me, I am Barack Obama Jr. Ken Butler, Executive Director of the Major Adams Community Committee. And I get a lot of accolades for what we did tonight, but as one of my mentors, Mr. Harris, taught me, if you are always the person that's being talked about, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you are truly the dumbest person in the room. I am truly blessed to be surrounded by many people that made this event happen tonight. Can I have my event committee, please, not my event committee, but the event committee, please stand and be acknowledged. Mr. James Campbell, Captain Rockford, Mary Easton, Louis Carter, who's like the food force, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Whitney Walker, who's not here with us tonight. Let me see anybody. Mr. Kathy Rockford, and I say there's one person for last, Artie Haley. Keep standing, please. People need to understand this. This was not my idea. Artie came to me back in March and said exactly what Howard just said. We need to give them their roses while they are still here. Artie has been my conscience, and I truly appreciate him because I've come to learn to trust him and believe in everything that he says. So without you, Artie, we would not be having this event tonight. So thank you, Artie. I had several stories to tell, but James Campbell Jr. took my story about John. And then I don't know who told a story on there about Howard being out there breaking up 2 games, but they stole my story. Mr. Strickland told me I couldn't hit a curveball, so I couldn't play for his baseball team. It actually was true, I couldn't hit a curveball, I was dug out the box. And Rameses, who's not here, actually, I was being taught by one of his proteges, as far as karate, got kicked in the face and quit. I was too pretty to get kicked in the face. I said, I ain't going through this now. But all 4 of these individuals, at a moment in time, have touched our lives. And for most of us, they touched our lives for our entire life. I want you to look around the room, see who is here tonight. We have Jerry Campbell who came from D.C. to honor Howard Davis. You have the entire Strickland contingency. And the churchman's on here to honor Mr. Jerry Strickland. All of us here knows Don Cox-Bey and his brother Rameses Cox-Bey for what they've done in the Henry Horner family. And then Mr. Johnny Harris. What can I say about Mr. Harris? who influenced me my entire life and is still my daily mentor. I gotta tell you one quick funny story about Johnny, real quick. Okay. We were meeting with Cecilia Rhoda, you saw her on the screen, and her assistant was talking about all the stuff they do for Major Adams Community Committee, and if it wasn't for them, it's her assistant now, we would not be in existence. Well, John knows how I defend the center itself. Because there are a lot of people that make it happen. And before I finish the story, Johnny, I want to say this real quick. People do not know we would not be where we are right now if it was not for our Alderman Walter Burnett. Please, Walter Burnett, take a stand. Walter and everybody following. When they decided to tear down Henry Horner, they didn't have a placement for Major Adams. So Walter, at the point in time, you remember they were redeveloping the entire area. Walter said you will not build another house until Major Adams Community Committee has a home. So I'm eternally indebted to Walter. But without you, we would not be here today.
Amen.
And there's not many politicians who would come to your aid like that. But now, getting back to the story about Cecilia Rowley. So, when she was rattling off all things that she did, everything kept going through our minds is who supported us, Chicago Area Project, CHA, the MacArthur Foundation, so forth and so on. And I'm sitting there just breathing, and John knows I'm a hothead, and John grabbed my hand. I was at John like, if you don't let my hand go, I'm gonna kill you. But his common tone and voice made me understand this is not a time and place. But they will soon understand they are part of a family. And I'd like to thank all of you all. Whether you live in Henry Horner, whether you work in Henry Horner, or whether you just join us tonight to honor these distinguished gentlemen, you are all part of what we call Double H. Now, in closing, does anyone in this room know what January 5th, 1922, what that date means? How, Johnny, please, you can answer that.
It was cold.
No, you can't either, Miss Butler.
How about me?
Go ahead, Miss Butler. This is the 100th year of our founder, James Major Adams. Now, even though this evening is not about him, his legacy is why we're here today. Because he built all of these individuals. And I myself am able to do what I'm able to do because of what they did. And I am never going to be at their level only because you cannot be a pioneer for only one time.
That's right.
And I thank each of you all for your pioneering efforts and what you do. And because of that, and in celebration of our founder, and of course, I'm sorry, we were not able to have a big celebration in January because of COVID. But one thing we planned on doing was, do we have chairs on stage? Okay. Can I have all the honorees join me on stage, please? And have a seat, please. We have you in order of where you were sitting in front of us, please. One thing that our committee came up with in terms of making sure we honor individuals, and there are a lot of people, as they mentioned, that have done great work in Henry Horner. Miss Lindsay, Miss Pierce, and of course the immortal James Major Adams, and we can go on and on and on. We decided this year, we are going to start this first year, of our induction of the Major Adams Hall of Fame. These 4 individuals are the first 4 that will be going to our Hall of Fame. There'll be a plaque on the wall in the center that will have their picture and a list of their accolades that we're going to have on there. Now, there are a lot of people in this room that will also be joining them in the Hall of Fame in the upcoming years. But because it's our first event after COVID, we did not want to prolong this prestigious calling. So with that said, we do have something to show you to honor us honoring you as being in the Hall of Fame. And please pull out their You all heard of the NFL Hall of Fame, correct? What do they have? A gold jacket. Guess what we got? Major Adams jacket. So, the jacket has the name on the left. Of course, a picture of our founder on the right. On the back, Major Adams Hall of Fame. Now, to continue the celebration, as they say, wait, there's more. Next year, we're going to be hosting our first actual fundraiser that we used to do every year, which is called Legends of the West. And in doing so, it's going to be in October every year, so you all get invited. But it won't be a paid event, so please bring the money. We need money. But in doing so, we thought we would also add to these prestigious individuals. I'm going to bestow honor upon them, which even they're not aware of. So each year, as you all know, we give out awards to different individuals, whether it's in politics, whether it's in education, civic duty, so many other areas. But what we did this year is next year, there will be awards given out to individuals bearing our honoree's name. So the first one will be given out next year, which will be Rameses Cox-Bey. Each year we're going to honor a volunteer of the year. And that award will be called the Rameses Cox-Bey Volunteer of the Year Award. So we'll be having an award that will bear his name that will allow people to understand the importance of volunteerism. Okay.
Why do I feel like Little Richard here?
You haven't been to see me, brother. Next, we will be giving out an award for our Youth Athletes of the Year, male and female. That award will be called the Jerry Strickland Youth Athlete of the Year. Now, everyone knows that Johnny Harris can sing. So it's apropos that the award that we give out in his honor will be the Performing Arts Award. So we call it Johnny Harris Performing Arts Award. And what they're holding is just something that signifies that there'll be an award given out in their name each and every year. And then last of all, but definitely not least, as I would always say, my sensei, my mentor, my big brother, my father figure, the godfather. I can go on and on about this man. We will be giving out, and we all talk about how Howard encouraged us education-wise, so forth and so on. Well, we're going to be giving out, we have gotten donations already. We'll be giving out each year, we're going to be giving out 4 scholarships to college students, and it will be called the Howard Lathan Scholarship Award. Now, anyone that knows me knows that I'm a tough guy, but I get emotional when I talk about people that have influenced so many individuals. And the one way that a person is always immortalized is when you put an award in their name. So their honor will be continued long beyond their lifetime, my lifetime, and my grandkids' lifetime, because Major Adams Community Committee will be here for a very long time. And I want to thank you all for coming out to make this thing possible, but also want to thank our honorees for enabling us the opportunity to grow, to be productive individuals, to where now we can show you our appreciation and let you know that we truly love you, we respect you. As a good friend of mine always say, there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you all for coming out to see me. Please drive safely.